As a result of this disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision, the Supreme Court said to the wealthiest people in this country, they said, okay guys, you already own much of the economy. Now we're going to give you the opportunity to buy the United States government, and that is what they are trying to do right now. Virtually all of the candidates for president, not all, but almost all, have super PACs. And what a super PAC is the ability of millionaires and billionaires to pour as much money as they want into a political campaign. And in fact, in most cases, the super PACs actually have more money than the campaign's own treasury. So the billionaires have more power over a campaign in many respects than does the candidate himself or herself. I am very proud to tell you that I do not have a super PAC. I do not want a super PAC. My campaign does not represent the interests of the largest corporations and the wealthiest people. But what I can tell you, which I am enormously proud of, is that as of this day, today, we have received over 800,000 individual contributions, averaging $30 a piece. This is a people's campaign. And let me also tell you that if elected president, no nominee of mine to the United States Supreme Court will get that position unless he or she is loud and clear in saying that they will vote to overturn Citizens United. I am a passionate believer in a very radical idea called democracy. And what that means to me is that I want every person in this room, and I want people all over Georgia, all over America, regardless of their political views, the conservatives, the moderates, the progressives, whatever they are, I want them to be able to run for office and not have to hustle money from wealthy people. That is why I strongly believe in public funding of elections. And let me also say this to the government here in Georgia, government in South Carolina, and that is what democracy is about, is to try to make sure that as many people as possible get involved in the political process. Our job is to encourage people to vote, not to suppress the vote. I can tell you from the bottom of my heart, I've run in many campaigns in my state of Vermont. Sometimes I've lost, most times I've won, but it has never, ever occurred to me, not for 1 second, to sit around and try to figure out how I can prevent people who disagree with me from voting. That is, when you do that, you are nothing less than a political coward. And if you are too afraid to run in a free and fair election, get another job. Today in our country, sadly, we have one of the lowest voter turnouts of any major country on earth. I want that changed. I want us to have one of the highest voter turnouts, not one of the lowest voter turnouts. And I will fight, either through a constitutional amendment or through legislation, to make certain that everybody in America 18 years of age or older is registered to vote. End of discussion. And when we talk about our needs as a nation, I think all of you know that we live in a highly competitive global economy. And we need the best educated workforce in the world. And that is why it makes no sense to me that we have today hundreds of thousands of bright and qualified young people who are unable to go to college for one reason alone, and that is their families lack the money. I have introduced legislation and will make happen as president. Legislation that does two things. Number one, it will make every public college and university tuition free. And what that means is there are kids here in Atlanta in the 4th grade, in the 6th grade, their parents never went to college. My parents never went to college. And when you're in a family whose parents never went to college, you kind of don't associate with families who went to college. And for those kids, the dream of going to college is non-existent. It's as likely they're going to go to college as go to the moon. They don't think about it. So they don't do their schoolwork seriously. What I want to see happen is that every kid in this country who studies hard, who takes school seriously, will be able to get a college education regardless of the income. And the other thing this legislation does is deal with a major crisis impacting millions of people who have student debt. It makes no sense to me that people with student debt are paying interest rates on that debt of 6, 8, 10% when they can refinance a home for 3 or 4%. What we're going to allow them to do. Now, the truth is that if we provide free tuition at public colleges and universities, and if we substantially lower student debt interest rates, that is an expensive proposition, about $70 billion a year. We are going to pay for that through a tax on Wall Street speculation. When Wall Street collapsed, they came running to the United States Congress for a bailout. Well, now it is Wall Street's turn to bail out the middle class. When we talk about our responsibilities as human beings, as parents, as grandparents, there is nothing more important than leaving this planet to our kids and grandchildren in a way that is habitable. The debate is over. Climate change is real. Climate change is caused by human activity, and climate change today is already causing massive problems in our country and all over the world.